Obviously, it was AJ Greer's Cup Final debut, getting back in the lineup for you guys. Even outside of all the physical stuff, just what do you think he brought to the lineup, and what was it like getting that fourth line back together in that game?
Yeah, that's the key for them, the individual play. I was pleased because I was concerned that he'd be so amped up, right? That you just come out of structure. You're just all over the place, and that was not the case. And then the three of them then together looked like they had when they played prior to AJ's injury, and there's a chemistry between the three. They become very positionally sound. They're reading off each other very, very quickly. So you got some men that can skate, and they're certainly physical players.
Right side, third row.
Hey, Paul. We always hear about players learning from postseason runs, cup runs. Watching Tomo Ruutu working on face-offs during practice, I'm wondering how a coaching staff learns from cup runs.
Well, we would spend more time together talking than probably any other group. Right, the players are in and out of the rink, but we spend an awful lot of time going over all of those things, kind of remember this, remember that. And we share so much video with each other. We've got a pretty good library of where we think things went well for us, where we missed something. So we talk about that kind of idea. What is today like in reference to our past? What are the events of today that we want to replicate? What are the things we want to stay away from? So that's the nice part of having continuity with the staff. We have a shared experience together.
Right side, second row.
In the Tampa series, you started with Mackey up on the second line, then you moved Evan up there and kind of retooled the fourth line. How important has that fourth line been, and what do you think Mackey is learning from what all that he's going through right now?
Well, he had an incredibly important year. Mackey started on the fourth line. And his skill level that's not his level, that's not where we see him, but he learned all the hard parts of the game. And some of that is sitting on the bench for blocks of time and then having to go out and have legs. The simplicity of what those players need to do to be successful. So he learned the simple parts of the game. And then I think he had just a wonderful year. What happened with Mackey is we added players at the trade deadline and it just pushed people down. And then the Nosek line had developed something in the last 6 weeks of the season that we really started to value as the playoffs went on. So it was truly a numbers game. That's the thing that players hate to hear the most. Why can't I be one of the numbers? But all of it, you cannot explain to a player what playoff hockey is like. They have to be on the ice. They have to experience it. So he got his first taste of that, and we expect him to continue to grow.
Any more questions for Coach? Front right.
Jonah was just saying just how much fun he's having. As a coach, do you notice when a player isn't having fun, and how do you try and get that out of them if they're not having fun?
I got a story there with that one. We had a guy that was a year or two, maybe last year, was struggling quite a bit. He just wasn't having any fun. And Sam Reinhart, I was talking to Sam about the player. Certainly not behind. I was asking Sam, and he says, I've been through that. I've been through that time when you're working as hard as you can, but you're actually driving to the rink and you don't really have any hope that it's going to get better. So sometimes with those guys, you get locked into a belief of what's going to happen next, because that's what's happened for the last 2.5 months. You can't score. You're playing in a role maybe that you don't agree with, right? You get moved down the lineup because your play's not there, and that's your expectation. Nothing's going to change. Yona had battled he came in injured when we signed him, and he rehabbed for a while. We just felt he never got into a year healthy where he could start working on his game, but this year he had some minor injuries. But the thing that we had asked him to do last summer was figure out a way to get a half step quicker, and he did that. And we started to know that in January and February, just on the ice in practice. He was moving through the neutral zone faster. And then again, that 6 weeks block, I think it may only be 4 or 5, but there's some confidence that came in with his line with Greer and Nosek. And now he is having fun, and he should, because he's earned it. He worked hard to get a little bit faster. He put the time in to get better. So he's earned the right to come to the rink and be in a good mood, because when he does, he has hope something good could happen.
We'll take 2 more. Right side, fourth row.
Hey, Paul. When you come off a game that has the amount of penalty minutes that Game 3 had, does it change anything as far as your approach to what might happen in the next game, or any of your messaging to the players?
No, we wouldn't have spent any time thinking about that. That was just the end of a game. as the context changes, there's 4 games left to this series. As you get closer to Game 7, discipline becomes a more and more critical factor. I think this will be the fastest, most disciplined game played by both teams, and it won't have anything to do with the way the game ended. It'll have everything to do with now it's Game 4. Right? You got to keep that stick on the ice. You can't be the extra guy in a scrum. You can't. The context forces greater discipline.
One more left side, first row.
Hey, Paul, I know you were asked yesterday for you about fatherhood and all that, but for your team, a lot of dads on your team. I know.
Got a lot of kids.
Yeah. A lot of the players pregame, for home games, they go in the corner, get to see them, whatnot, have that moment of levity. Is there a sense where you can see just that shared experience helping with bonding and chemistry in the room, and just what that does for the guys who are parents who are able to?
Well, you get more guys. First of all, for the most part, these guys are a little older. Right, and then they get this group of people, and then it's a shared kind of family wives experience. For those of you who have kids, you all know it. It's tough, right? And so the wives will connect more closely with each other because they need each other. They got to rely on each other, and they're also going for some of them something life-altering for the first time. But when you bring your stroller to the rink and there's 12 other strollers there, you got lots of stories to tell, and they're all going through it at the same time. It's been marvelous to watch, and I think it does build the connections that you have with your team.